I've seen this bloody book everywhere, and I read it. And now I'm going to talk about it because that's how it works around here. Stick around. All right, everybody. So I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. I didn't know who Jennette McCurdy was. I read it because that's what everyone seems to be doing. And if you want to be, if you want to fit in, if you want to call yourself a person and say you have a life and stuff, I guess that's what we have to do. And so, anyway, it was a good book. I think I rated it at 4 stars, probably rounded up to 4 stars. I mean, it wasn't, wasn't anything to write home about, but it was definitely pretty good. As I say, I didn't know who Jennette McCurdy was. She's a child star. She starred in iCarly, I guess, and then it had a spin-off called Sam and Cat, I think. And then she was in some Netflix work. I can't exactly remember it says at the back here. She was in a series called Between. And anyway, this was written in 2022, and it's just been it's such a distinguishable book, right? Like you can see that from a mile away and you'll go blind. I want to read this first part right here in the flap. It says, Jennette McCurdy was 6 years old when she had her first acting audition. Her mother's dream was for her only daughter to become a star, and Jennette would do anything to make her mother happy. So she went along with what Mom called calorie restriction, eating little and weighing herself 5 times a day. She endured extensive at-home makeovers while Mom chided, "Your eyelashes are invisible, okay? You think Dakota Fanning doesn't tint hers?" She was even showered by Mom until age 16 and was also forced to share her diaries, email, and her entire income. This book, so what I found interesting was that, do you remember that movie, I Am Sam? I don't know, I was under the age of 10, I think, when I went and saw it. And I remember that movie very well. It was actually pretty good. Well, she was auditioning, and they had led her to believe that she got the part, but Dakota Fanning actually got it. I can't remember. She explains in the story why she didn't end up in that movie. But so that sort of grounded this person for me. I didn't know who she was, right? But I had known that movie. I didn't know what iCarly was. I didn't know Sam and Cat, obviously. I knew, I know what Nickelodeon is, and of course, reading the inside flap, you get an indication of, the sort of abuse that she talks about. And as you can tell by the title, I'm Glad My Mom Died. It's got a really noir humor throughout it, but she didn't come across as like super mean. She's definitely got a dark noir humor to her, and I love that. And you kind of trauma bond with her throughout the book. But I couldn't believe, like what she had been through, like what sort of mom in this modern age, she's 31 now, I think, Jennette McCurdy. What kind of mom, gives their daughter an eating disorder? I mean, she had anorexia from a young age. As it said there, she used to shower with her child, and, always under the guise of analyzing, her parts to make sure she was okay. There's probably some sexual abuse in there, although she doesn't make any overt accusations of that. She does give you a lot of context of what was going on, but definitely a lot of impropriety and invasion of personal space. And that her mom made everything about herself. She had cancer for the majority of her childhood, I think, a long time anyway, throughout her childhood. And, kind of a dysfunctional family, not terribly close to her father. And then some revelations about that later on in the book. Again, I'm trying not to spoil this for you, but, your heart really goes out to her, certainly when you get the whole story and kind of understand what this girl has been through. It's funny coming from the book that I had just read prior to this, and I just released a video on this book here, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Well, sort of different, similar themes, right? This is obviously nonfiction, and a bio, a memoir, but you see these themes sort of repeat. Like you're in showbiz, there's always sort of that undertone of sexuality, especially as a young girl. I also kind of related to her on the fact that she was raised as a Mormon. I don't know, she may even still somewhat kind of identify. She didn't really say whether she had officially left. She says she sort of leaves off on the fact that she wasn't active and so on. And I had been brought up in a fundamentalist cult, not too dissimilar to the Mormon faith. And so, you get a sense of all of the different things that were shaping her little mind, and all the pressures that were on her to perform and to memorize her lines and to put her needs on the back burner. And there's the economic element of, her parents were always struggling economically until she started to land some roles. And she, instead of her mother depending a lot on her father to provide the main bread and butter, she eventually ended up filling that role, and taking these eating disorders into her adulthood, it evolving into bulimia, and basically all of the treatment she had to get just to sort of be back on track and have a normal life. So I really liked this book. Again, not a 5-star for me, but certainly 3 leaning into a 4. It's not terribly long. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue in here, and the writing isn't terribly tiny font or anything. So it's about 300 pages, pretty accessible, and she's actually interesting. She's really interesting to read. She's got a great storytelling style. She talks about some writing that she was working on and how much she liked that. I guess she wanted to be sort of a playwright. That was something that she had dabbled in. Although now I think she's got a podcast. Actually, on Spotify, it won some sort of recognition, like a top category of podcasting or something. So she's found her feet, obviously, but because she's dabbled in writing, she's actually really good at it. Like she doesn't have terribly elevated language, or wordy, but she's definitely interesting. So highly recommended. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments below. I'm really curious. Like, did you know of her as a child star? Did you follow iCarly and Sam and Cat? Also, she drops a bit of tea in there about Ariana Grande, which is always fun. She's kind of one of those. I don't hate Ariana Grande, but she's kind of one of those people you love to hate in a way. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. It'd be interesting to see your take on this. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.